I think about the religious life, I guess I think about dedicating your life to God and really being open to the Spirit of God to move within you or to perform His works on earth.
To find out that people are administrators of colleges and deans and physiotherapists is really wonderful, because then you can connect with the sisters more, you can identify with them.
I asked one of the Sisters of St. Joseph, how do you know if you have a vocation? And she said, you fall in love.
Meet the Sisters of St. Joseph of Toronto. For nearly 150 years, hundreds of women have responded to the call to live and work as Sisters of St. Joseph of Toronto. They became the founders and managers of the hospitals, schools, and colleges that are among the landmarks of Toronto's history, and before long moved as far away as Comox, BC, to begin a hospital, and at Prince Rupert to open a school. As women of God, the sisters have always modeled for others what it meant to be on a spiritual journey and dedicated to a ministry of the poor and the helpless. Their examples were the flames of love that passed from one generation of sisters to the next.
I was attracted by the sisters who taught me in high school, and by the fact that they were real people who were really trying to love God in their life and who wanted to share that with us.
When I finished high school, I worked at St. Michael's Hospital, and my sense of the sisters there was that they were very, very caring. They were very disciplined in what they did, very knowledgeable, but their basic concern was for the patient that they cared for.
No longer so involved with healthcare and education, today's sisters work side by side with lay people in a wide range of ministries throughout the Toronto community and beyond. The sisters welcome those who might like to know more about these ministries and the life of community and prayer that sustains them.
There are many young women out in the work field who are saying there must be more. Even though I've achieved all of this, I've kind of achieved goals I had set for myself, I'm longing for more.
At one of the sisters' homes in downtown Toronto, young women are welcome to join in community prayer and supper, or to move in if an experience of community life would help them consider becoming Sisters of St. Joseph.
There is a strong desire for community in our world today. It's that sense that if we are able to work together, to be together as a community, that we can do more than I can do by myself.
Prayer for me is a very important part of my life. It's what gives me the strength, the energy, and the faith to keep going in my everyday life.
I see the living together, the sharing of community as part of what sustains us, and the daily fidelities that we call each other to. We remind each other about our life of faith, about our life of giving in the Christian way, and we support each other in that.
The sisters' life of prayer and community is a part of what many young women experience every year while living at St. Joseph's College, a residence at University of St. Michael's College run by the sisters.
It's been wonderful to sit at a table at lunch or at dinner and have some fabulous spiritual discussions and some debates, some lively debates about spirituality and how important the faith life is just at table.
I think that's one of the common misconceptions of our society, is that the young people or people in their 20s or even in their teenage years are just not interested in religion, and that's, I find this to be so wrong.
Do you think that young people should consider a vocation to religious life? And if you do, why do you think they should consider it?
I think if I were to receive the call, I would definitely know that would be a wonderful feeling that I'd never really felt before. It might take me a while to sort of discern it and figure out what exactly this pull is, but I don't think that it's something that a young person should consider offhand, that they should take lightly in their consideration. that it really requires that added touch, which is God's.
But it's not always a dramatic call like St. Paul.
I talked to one of my professors, a wise person at the university, and he told me that his advice was very simple. I should pray for the light to know God's will and the courage to follow it. So I did that. Really, I would have preferred married life. That was my first choice. But I did feel this call and attraction. So it was a growing thing, and I'd spent a few years discerning it before I actually entered the congregation. And it was a struggle. It wasn't easy. I fought with God.
The sisters never stop working on what it means to have received this call, both as individuals and as a community.
We remember our own struggles to respond to God's call, to leave all, to follow Him. And so we pray for those who are now being invited by God to respond to His initiative and call.
The process has been a journey to the very core of the meaning of religious life at the dawning of the new millennium. It takes place in private prayer and in community gatherings of shared reflections.
During our chapter this summer, we worked on our goals for the next 4 years, and we came to a statement where we as congregation want to we seek to nurture community with the broken, and we define the broken for ourselves as the homeless, the alienated, the economically poor, and women at risk. And we as congregation now are in the process of searching out what that really means for us.
And this? Make sure you got it. I go to the Women's Center at Shooter Street off of St. Mike's Hospital. And they are women who are broken. Women who have had a beginning in life, but then they end up out on the streets. There's an awful lot of healing to be done. And I have to say, Jesus has become real for me, and I think He becomes real for others when they come in touch with the poor, with the broken.
So now I invite you just to share something that has happened in your own ministry recently that confirms or deepens that direction, the nurturing of community with the broken.
At the moment, I'm working with people who are burned out from work, overwork, and often at the end of a month, when some of the people I work with are ready to re-enter into ministry, you just see a whole new person. And to me, it gives life, and it gives meaning to my life.
My work at St. Francis in community, it's a home rather. I was just thinking of, it does require a lot of energy, because sometimes the people who have mental health problems can be very draining. I see what I'm doing as helping each person to be more whole in body, mind, and spirit. My day starts with prayer, and out of my prayer is my work. I am being nurtured by the people I serve. Really, they help me to grow. They challenge me. So it's a two-way street.
Come on in. Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
I think a lot of our work at St. Joseph Spirituality Center is the spiritual development of people. So it's that hunger for spirituality. So it's education in one way, but it's also very much personal development, widening one's horizons to see new dimensions.
Teresa, you've come for spiritual direction, and I wondered if you'd like to share with me just a little bit of your life, anything that you'd like to tell me, anything that you'd be comfortable with.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm married and I have 2 children. And
as the earth and as our society evolves, individuals need to too. And one of the best ways they can do that is to come into community to do it together.
As I was reflecting this month on my work at the studio with pottery, I realized that I have been led over the years in a direction that I didn't feel that I had chosen.
And for myself, it often becomes, as I'm throwing the pots for the students, a reflection or a spiritual reflection for myself. I become in touch with myself and in touch with the clay. We all need a little bit of lubrication of some type, and so does the clay. The clay needs water to make it run smoothly. We need support from others. I often think of the scripture quotations from Isaiah, Jeremiah. I must go down to the potter's house, and he will shape and mold and change.
In many different ways, I feel that I'm able, through my ministry, to be in touch with those who are broken and to be able to create community there.
I was thinking of it like a jigsaw puzzle. We're working with the broken, all right, but I'm also looking at my own broken edges. My early idea of vocation was I was going to be perfect and then dispense it, you know. And now I'm finding that those broken places are meeting, and we're all in it together. And there was this
the woman who is called to be a sister, she responds to a particular action of God within her, which she comes to understand as an invitation to a very total self-gift. And that gift is made visible through the expression of a vowed life.
The vows free us in that spiritual journey, the faith journey that allows us to live community and to really pursue the life of a Sister of St. Joseph. By chastity, we commit ourselves not to marry and to live in community. By poverty, we commit ourselves not to accumulate wealth and to live simply.
Loving God, we thank you for your presence with us this day. We thank you for your many gifts, of which this food.
By obedience, we commit ourselves to living the way of a Sister of St. Joseph, and particularly allowing the group to help us discern our life choices.
As the sisters map out their goals in the light of ever-changing needs and their own accumulated knowledge of how best to serve, they want to make sure that a new generation of women will come forward to join their lives of prayer, community, and ministry.
Those women who feel they want to follow Jesus but also want to serve the neighbor and give love, then they would be coming to the right place.
So when someone comes to us, it's a question of, well, what do you bring? And how can that be at the service of our mission of unity and communion? And so almost anything could fit. We need the extroverts and we need the introverts. We need the thinkers and we need the feelers. We need all the different gifts.
The sisters welcome those who would like to explore the option of religious life. For more information, write, call, or fax Sister Pat Boucher, Vocation Director for the Sisters of St. Joseph of Toronto.